In this final outcome, we step back and look at the bigger picture. How information technology has woven itself into almost every corner of society, from the way we socialize to the way we bank, learn, and stay well. It's a story of huge gains, but real challenges too. Let's map out where we're going. IT has reshaped daily life, work and public services alike, and we'll look at three angles. First, how social networking has changed the way we connect and behave. Then how technology has transformed whole sectors, from banking and business to education, sport, manufacturing, and health. And finally, the rise of software-based training and what it means for the way we learn. Let's start with how we actually network online. There are the big social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn for sharing and connecting. There's messaging, both one-to-one and in groups, through apps like WhatsApp that have quietly replaced a lot of calls and texts. And there's content sharing, where people post photos, video, and live streams to reach huge audiences on the likes of YouTube and TikTok. Now, what has all this done to us? The benefits are real. With global connection, instant news, thriving communities, and cheap marketing for businesses. But so are the drawbacks, from misinformation and cyberbullying to lost privacy and the pull of addiction. Our social patterns have genuinely shifted. We now form and keep up relationships online, and everything from news to shopping to activism increasingly runs through social media. Let's look more closely at how behavior has changed. People now stay in touch across distance and time zones, keeping far wider networks than any earlier generation. News and opinions spread in an instant, shaping politics, activism, and passing trends. Shopping, dating, and job hunting have all moved online, and LinkedIn, for instance, has become the place to manage a career. But there's a flip side. Face-to-face contact can fall away, and an always-on culture chips at our sleep and well-being. It's worth weighing social networking up properly. On the positive side, it keeps families and friends in touch, hands small businesses cheap marketing, rallies communities and causes, and lets almost anyone publish and be heard. On the negative side, it spreads misinformation and traps people in echo chambers, enables bullying and harassment, harvests personal data for profit, and can chip away at mental health and attention. The same tools that connect us can just as easily isolate and mislead. Let's turn to how IT has reshaped whole industries. Banking has moved online and onto our phones with contactless payments and AI fraud detection. Business runs on e-commerce, remote work, and data-driven decisions. Education reaches us through virtual learning and online resources. And sport, manufacturing, and health have all been transformed too. The plain truth is that no sector has been left untouched. Let's go sector by sector and note the trade-offs. In banking, online and mobile services and AI fraud checks bring convenience, but fewer branches and new cyber risk. In business, e-commerce and analytics open new markets while changing the jobs people do. In education, virtual learning widens access but exposes a digital divide. Sport gains from wearables and video officiating, manufacturing from robotics and automation, often at the cost of manual jobs, and health from electronic records and telemedicine, though privacy becomes a real concern. Let's zoom in on banking with a real example. A customer now manages their money entirely through an app rather than setting foot in a branch. On the plus side, they can pay bills, move money, and check their balance anytime, anywhere, and AI quietly flags unusual transactions to block fraud fast. On the downside, branch closures leave some older or offline customers stranded. So IT makes banking faster and cheaper, but it hands the banks a real duty around access and security. Here's the same lens on healthcare. A GP surgery adopts electronic health records, online booking, and video consultations. The upside is clear, since records are shared instantly between clinicians, cutting errors, and patients can book and consult from home, saving time and travel. The downside is that sensitive data must be fiercely protected, and not everyone is online to begin with. So the technology genuinely improves care, but only alongside strong data protection and support for those who need it. Let's give sport and manufacturing a closer look, since IT has reshaped both. In sport, wearables and GPS track an athlete's fitness. Video systems like VAR and Hawkeye help the officials. Data analytics guides, tactics and recruitment, and fans follow along through streaming and apps. In manufacturing, robots handle repetitive tasks with great precision. Computer-aided design and machining shape products digitally, and IoT sensors watch the machines to predict faults before they happen. The result is higher output and quality, though often with fewer manual jobs. One theme runs through all of this and deserves its own moment. The benefits of IT aren't shared equally. The digital divide is the gap between those with good access to technology and the skills to use it, and those without. It can come down to income, age, disability, or simply living somewhere rural. Think of online-only banking or health services, which can quietly shut out anyone who isn't connected. IT brings enormous benefits, but society has to act so that no group is left behind. Let's define our last topic: training delivered by software. E-learning is teaching delivered through software and the internet, like online courses and modules. CBT, or computer-based training, is self-paced lessons, simulations, and quizzes run on a computer. And a virtual learning environment such as Moodle is the platform that hosts those courses and quietly tracks everyone's progress, the very kind of system you're using right now. Let's weigh software-based training up fairly. The advantages are considerable. You can learn anytime, anywhere, at your own pace. Everyone gets exactly the same content. It's cheap to scale once it's built, with no travel, and interactive quizzes give instant feedback while your progress is tracked. But the disadvantages are just as real, since you need a device, internet, and digital skills. There's less human interaction and support. It demands self-discipline, so it's easy to drift and drop out, and it's a poor fit for hands-on, practical skills. So, what has it actually done to learning? Software-based training has thrown the doors open, widening access to education and workplace skills. It suits knowledge and compliance topics beautifully, and simulations can teach risky tasks in perfect safety. But it works best when it's blended with some face-to-face teaching, and UK Versity, for example, uses Moodle to deliver resources, quizzes, and this very assessment. The honest verdict is that it's powerful and flexible, but it complements a good teacher rather than fully replacing one. Let's finish with a real example. A large retailer needs to train 5,000 staff on data protection, so it uses an online module with a final quiz. The advantages show at once, since every employee gets identical, up-to-date content with no travel or venue costs, and completions and scores are tracked automatically for the audit. The catch is that some staff simply click through without really engaging, and the point gets missed. Efficient and consistent for compliance then, but genuine understanding still needs good design and follow-up. Let's bring the whole unit to a close. Social networking, through platforms, messaging, and content sharing, has reshaped how we connect, shop, and get our news, bringing connection and opportunity alongside misinformation, lost privacy, and well-being worries. IT has transformed banking, business, education, sport, manufacturing, and health, with clear gains but new risks at every turn. Software-based training is flexible, scalable, and consistent, though it still needs access and self-discipline. And across society, the impact of IT comes down to how fairly and securely we choose to use it. And that brings the whole unit to a close. In this outcome, we've seen how social networking has rewired the way we relate to one another, how IT has transformed sector after sector, and how software-based training has widened access to learning while raising questions of its own. If you'd like to read further, the list points you to Van Dyke on the Network Society and Clark and Mayer on the science of e-learning. For up-to-date figures, the Office for National Statistics and Ofcom track how we really use technology, and the story of online banking and the vanishing High Street branch makes a thought-provoking case study. Do take a look, and well done on reaching the end of the unit.